Hi everyone, welcome to part 4. Okay, Kramnik has just played king g6, which renders the black king immobile. Its only legal move is to g8, and if it moves there, then white has rook e8, which is mate. So black is forced to move his bishop because he can't move his pawn here. And Ponomariov moved it to h2. So then came rook e4, which forces bishop g3 in order to preserve the h-pawn, and if Ponomariov loses that, then he's going to lose the game very quickly. So he played, Kramnik played now king f6, then came bishop f2 and king g6, which allows a repeated position after bishop g3. So Kramnik has to be careful that it doesn't happen again, or the game will be drawn, and this was unnecessary really. He should have moved his rook instead, but realistically it's not dangerous as long as he's careful and he remembers his position. It's best if you find yourself in that situation to write it down on the move sheet when there's a repeated position. And he played here rook e2, which forces the bishop to move away from the protection of the h-pawn, because it can't move to f2 or e1, the rook will just take it, so it has to move along this diagonal somewhere, so it will be not defending the pawn anymore. And he moved to d6, and so Kramnik now attacked the pawn with king g5. Then came bishop g3 and king f6, which again creates a position where only the bishop can move because of the mate threat, rook e8. And Ponomariov moved it to bishop f4. And now with rook e4, Kramnik is slowly forcing a zugzwang. After bishop d6, played rook d4, and not rook takes h4 or bishop e7 check would allow black to draw. And now Ponomariov is really in trouble. Again he has to move his bishop and at the same time defend the d8 square, because rook d8 is mate, so bishop goes back to g3. So the only moves for the bishop are c7 and e7, because they have to defend d8. And Ponomariov chose c7, but this is a mistake. e7 was better, and he can hardly be blamed for this inaccuracy because I'm using a table base, which obviously makes it much easier for me, but this allows a forced mate in 22 moves, whereas bishop e7 would delay the mate for a further 8 moves, so it would be a forced mate in 30 moves with perfect play from Kramnik. And incredibly enough, if he played bishop e7 check and then Kramnik forced mate in 30 moves, that would be exactly 50 moves since the last capture, which would force Kramnik to play 100% accurately. And incredibly, he seems able to do that. Almost all of the moves he makes here, in the 10 moves before this position and for the rest of the game, they're all moves that agree 100% with the table base engine that I'm using. And there's several occasions where there's it's only a difference of 1 or 2 moves, but he always makes the strongest move. And it's one thing being able to make the moves that Fritz recommends, but Fritz can't even find the table based moves that Kramnik is finding, so it's absolutely amazing that he's finding all of these moves, and which he did now again with king g6. And this means that Ponomariov has only one way to defend his pawn, which is bishop g3. But now comes rook e4, which is a very nice finishing move, and it's the only one that doesn't allow black to hold on for a draw. Any other move here from Kramnik would have resulted in a drawn position with perfect play. And here Ponomariov resigned because it's totally lost. The king can't move because of the same mate threat as before. With rook e8, the king's only legal move is g8, and then rook e8 is mate. So black has to move the bishop, which is tied to the defense of the h4 pawn. And if it goes to f2, then there's rook f4 check, winning the bishop. And if it goes to e1 here, then the rook can just take it. So it has to move away from the defense of the h-pawn, and Kramnik will take it and win the game not long thereafter. So Ponomariov resigned, and this victory helped Kramnik on his way to winning the entire tournament. He was unbeaten in 9 games with 3 wins, earning a massive performance rating of 2888. And he's seen a huge surge in popularity after this tournament, as his style of play appears to have changed significantly. In the past he was known for his high percentage of drawn games, and while it was of course brilliant that nobody could beat him, some people thought his approach was boring, and that's certainly something that can no longer be associated with his game, as this tournament has shown he's more than willing to go into very sharp and dynamic positions. Personally, I think it won't be long before he's a world title contender once again. Okay, well that's it for this video and for my coverage of the Tau Memorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave any comments or thoughts. Thanks very much.